So, no surprise here. Deshaun Watson recently came out and requested a trade. He no longer wants to be a part of the Houston Texans organization. And a lot of teams have reportedly called in and inquired as far as, making a trade with the Texans for Deshaun Watson. And the New York Jets are a team that people are saying Deshaun Watson might very well end up on. Personally, if you're the New York Jets, I say if you can make that move happen, you do it 100% without thinking. But if I'm Deshaun Watson, I don't want to go to the Jets. The Jets are the worst team in their division. Their offensive line is not very good. They are very limited at the wide receiver and running back position. Robert Saleh is a new head coach, and while I do like the direction the Jets potentially are going in, we don't know if Robert Saleh can coach. And if I'm Deshaun Watson, why would I want to rebuild with an historically dysfunctional franchise while I'm 25 years old in the prime of my career? I just realized in Houston, I don't have the coaching staff, I don't have the run game, I don't have the defense, I don't have the offensive line, I overall don't have the support that I need to go out there and win a bunch of games consistently going forward. I cannot win a Super Bowl in Houston. That's what Deshaun Watson concluded, and that's why he's requesting a trade. And he doesn't trust the front office because they're a dysfunctional mess. So I came to think about some things. I said, if I'm Deshaun Watson, where would I most want to go? Where do I hope I end up? And I came up with two destinations for Deshaun Watson as far as what's the best fit for him. If Deshaun Watson wants to dominate, put up great numbers, maybe win a couple of MVPs, and ultimately, if he wants to win a Super Bowl, what destination makes the most sense for him? I came up with two destinations. I couldn't choose between the two, so I'm just going to discuss both those destinations. I came up with the San Francisco 49ers and the Miami Dolphins. Two pretty obvious choices. Why do the 49ers make a ton of sense? The 49ers make a ton of sense because they have Kyle Shanahan, one of the best offensive minds in the NFL as far as, head coaches in the NFL. He was able to elevate Matt Ryan's game. Matt Ryan was able to win a league MVP and get to a Super Bowl under Kyle Shanahan's tutelage when Kyle Shanahan was the offensive coordinator in Atlanta. The 49ers have a really good offensive line. They've got multiple running backs. They've got George Kittle, who's the best tight end in the entire NFL, probably not named Travis Kelce. They got Brandon Ayuk, who showed some big-time flashes as a rookie. They got Deebo Samuel as a number 2 option. He's pretty good as well. And a ferocious defensive front led by Nick Bosa. Not to mention Kyle Shanahan and the San Francisco 49ers not too long ago. They were in the Super Bowl. They were very close to beating Patrick Mahomes and the Kansas City Chiefs. That place makes a ton of sense. Deshaun will have a ton of support. He'd have a good run game. He'd have a good defense. He'd have great coaching. And he'd have weapons to throw to. Yes, that division is a dogfight every year. But Deshaun Watson would have everything put in place for him to win a Super Bowl and dominate the NFL if he could become the San Francisco 49ers starting quarterback going forward. I also really, really like the Miami Dolphins fit. The Miami Dolphins might be the most ideal fit for Deshaun Watson, just simply because, the division is much more winnable than the NFC West, because the NFC West, you got to deal with Matthew Stafford and Aaron Donald and the Rams. You got to deal with Russell Wilson and the Seattle Seahawks, and Kyler Murray and the Arizona Cardinals. They're a tough out, In the AFC East, really all you have to worry about is Josh Allen and the Buffalo Bills. I think the Patriots will potentially rebound, but they're not a scary football team. They can be handled. And the New York Jets, until proven otherwise, they're a dysfunctional mess. I'm sorry, but that's just how I feel about the New York Jets until they prove me wrong. But the Dolphins, folks, they just won 10 games with Ryan Fitzpatrick and Tua Tagovailoa as their starting quarterback. You mean to tell me if you plug in Deshaun Watson, who's one of the 5 best quarterbacks in the NFL, into that offense, and with that defense by his side, I think you can win a whole lot of games. And I really am a big fan of Brian Flores. Brian Flores, to me, is sort of a young Bill Belichick to a certain degree, just because he's a really good defensive-minded head coach. He seems to get the most out of marginal players. You know, he pulls guys off the streets that you never heard of. He puts them into a system, and somehow, some way they work. Brian Flores is a really, really good head coach, and he's only going to get better and better as a head coach. And not to mention, this roster that Miami has is only going to get better and better. Folks, keep in mind, the Miami Dolphins are still a rebuilding football team. They won 10 games last year, but they're still rebuilding. They haven't made the playoffs yet. So, look, I think the Miami Dolphins are a great fit for Deshaun. You got Devontae Parker and Mike Gesicki to throw to. Sure, you would like to add maybe another tight end or a wide receiver to, the Miami Dolphins offense, but they got a decent run game, a really, really good young defense, and the Miami Dolphins are one of those teams where they have enough draft capital and enough money to take on Deshaun Watson and his contract while still being able to build around Deshaun Watson. If the Miami Dolphins add Deshaun Watson and maybe another wide receiver or two to their team, they could be a serious Super Bowl threat. They could be challenging the Kansas City Chiefs in the AFC. That's how good they can be, and that's how high their ceiling is if they acquire Deshaun Watson. So if I'm the 49ers or if I'm the Dolphins, I'm making a move to try to go get Deshaun Watson. And if I'm Deshaun Watson, I'm doing everything in my power to try to force my way to the San Francisco 49ers or the Miami Dolphins, because if Deshaun Watson lands with one of those two teams, he very well could do some special things. Deshaun Watson has a chance to make any football team special, but if he lands with the Miami Dolphins or the San Francisco 49ers, look out, NFL. That's the next Super Bowl contending team, no doubt about it. Deshaun would do some special things in either San Francisco or Miami, no doubt about it. Thank you so much for watching this video today. Please also note that the Juice Alert Sports Podcast is not just a YouTube channel. It is available on all podcasting platforms, including Spotify, Google Podcasts, iTunes, and Apple Podcasts. Also, if you enjoyed this video, be sure to like, comment, subscribe, and share this content with all your friends. This podcast is my favorite thing in the entire world right now. It is my passion. And I want more people to listen to this podcast. I really want this podcast to grow. Also, a fun fact about me is that I want to go into the sports broadcasting and media world once I graduate from the University of Toledo, a college in Northern Ohio. I am looking to become one of the next great sports broadcasters and analysts out in the world. And I potentially would like to start my own network if this podcast really truly grows. Or if I fall short of that goal, I would love to work for a big-time network like ESPN or Fox Sports 1. I am open to all networks. So if you believe in my dreams and you see or hear my passion through the screen, be sure to tell all your friends about the Juice Alert Sports Podcast. Stay motivated, you guys. Have a God bless day, and I'm out.